Typically why I can't be arsed with Dark Souls. We might be able to bridge the chasm and start a dialogue going, you know? An olive branch, if you will. So here's 5 reasons why I don't want to play Dark Souls 3. Number 5, it's bleak. Listen, when I was a teenager, I was well into bleak. I wore thick eyeshadow and a stupid fucking trench coat. I obsessed over my own mortality and the pointlessness of life. I listened to Morrissey and Joy Division and System of a fucking whatever, that daft band with a song about hairbrushes and suicide or something. I didn't understand it, but it looked sufficiently cruddy that I was well up for it. I even loved Star Trek Voyager because it made me wish for death. But see now, I'm into nice things like being a dad and walks in the park and daft colourful shite like Grow Home and that Supergirl show that everyone says is rubbish but is actually a billion times more fun and relatable a comic book adaptation than that fucking Zack Snyder grim shit show you're all tugging yourselves daft over. Dark Souls just depresses me. I mean, look at it. Look at the state of it. It's like someone bombed Aberdeen, which reminds me. Number 4. Aberdeen. I live hundreds of miles away from Aberdeen by choice because it's Aberdeen. It's a monochrome granite shitehouse full of oil wealth and Weatherspoon's tack, and despite the relative lack of danger, is far too close to the crushing, soul-sapping brutality of the Dark Souls universe. I don't want to go to Aberdeen, and by extension I don't want to play a simulation of it either. Number 3, the lore is impenetrable. Look, I'm a simple guy, I like simple stories. Rather than traipsing around trying to piece the download together from snippets of gibbering shite, I like to know exactly who the main arsehole is, who is it they've got to batter, and why, and none of this carry on. Like Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider's a piece of piss to follow, right? Because it's plain as day. This lassie's on a gap year to nick stuff, and she ends up killing a load of Russian mercs. That's the skinny. That's the entirety of the skinny. But there's no Russian mercs or colonial-style artifact theft in Dark Souls. It's all vague pish, mumbled at you by haggard-looking dinner ladies. I can't figure any of this nonsense out. It's like doing a jigsaw when all the pieces have been dipped in shite and thrown in a skip. Number 2, Dark Souls fans. Look, I know most of you are live and let live types who just like a thing, but there's this vocal minority that give you all a bad name. You know the ones. Those guys always hitting out with that get good patter and the constant droning on about how death is part of the experience and how it's not unfair, it's just a skill challenge, and the wah they have whenever someone on Twitter says they're no into it, like it's a personal affront. Crying foul and apparently projecting some deep-seated feelings of inadequacy onto folk who have other hobbies. Inadequacies at least partially born of giving more of a toss about this drop in the cultural ocean than they do about any other facet of the human experience, like having normal conversations with people in pubs and not going around stinking of shit. Number 1, I'm shite at it. I'm just shite at it. If you like Video Gamer TV, click that big red button and subscribe. It takes less than half a second, and let's face it, it's not like you need to tell anyone you've done it, although if you wanted to, that would also be pretty cool.